I'm going to talk a little bit about how to make money as an artist on the internet while I draw these digital portraits. And if you want a portrait, you can email me from the email below. So this question is from Dan. He says, "Hi Micah, I'm a college senior at Mass Art and have been following your work for about a year. I was really curious about how you got into the position to do freelancing while maintaining your own style, doing stuff like music videos. Do you reach out in certain places or do they come to you? How did you get your foot in the freelance music video industry? That's easily my top goal in the upcoming year, and I would really appreciate any tips." So I never went to college. I started out drawing little flip books and making music videos for my own songs from about the age 19 to 23, where I learned animation through trial and error. Developing one's own art style comes from producing a lot of art. We can't really decide on a style beforehand. Style sort of happens organically as a result of experiencing different things and drawing from those experiences. One day I saw a random contest online to make a music video for the Flaming Lips. The band gave some directions for what the song was about, but overall the music video could be anything. Even though a couple thousand people had already submitted, I decided to spend the next month doing nothing but working on this animated music video contest. And after submitting my entry, I got a Twitter message from the lead singer Wayne Coyne, and all it said was text me with his phone number. So I emailed him back on Twitter, letting him know that I don't own a cell phone, and I never heard from him again. Then a few days later, I got an email from Gennaro, the company hosting the music video contest, saying that my submission won, and it became the official music video for the Flaming Lips song, "Look, the Sun is Rising." This was the most impactful thing I'd ever done in my art career up to this point. I was 23 and had never made any money off of my art, aside from $100 from a student art show when I was in 10th grade, and I only occasionally sold a few albums on Bandcamp now and then. So I really had no exposure to freelancing or trying to monetize my artwork in any way. But this set off a light bulb in my head. This idea of working on something over the internet for people anywhere in the world really appealed to me. For the next couple years, I did a few more music videos for a couple bands. The budgets weren't great, but I was building up a library of work that could be shown to future clients. And I had a lot of creative freedom to just go wild and make really surreal, bizarre things that I most likely wouldn't have been able to get away with in a more traditional studio setting. Around 2016, I became more aggressive with trying to connect with people. So I made a showreel of the best clips from music videos I had made the past couple years. To reach out to potential bands, I simply emailed them directly or on Facebook, asking if they'd have any interest in an animated music video. The introductory email was something like, "Hey," whatever their name was, "I'm Micah B. Zan, an independent animator who's made music videos for bands like the Flaming Lips. I feel like your music would work really well with 2D animation. Let me know if you'd have any interest in an animated music video, and we can discuss further. Keep up the amazing work." And then I'd leave one link to my showreel. So basically, the first email should be short and to the point. If you've worked for any notable clients, you should mention that, as it offers social proof and will make you seem more legitimate. Don't send a wall of text in the first email. People are busy and generally not looking to read super long emails from strangers. You should make sure that what you have to offer is relevant to your potential client. For instance, if you're trying to get a job for a children's book illustrator, you wouldn't want to send a portfolio full of gory zombie art. It's a good idea to build up individual portfolios that are catered towards the needs of different job types. Since I was trying to get music video work, I sent a short showreel showing my animations in motion, rather than just a portfolio of still images. Eventually, a couple of my music videos for Moon Duo and Nick Hakim were shown on Adult Swim, and this led to some word-of-mouth referrals. The hardest part sometimes is just getting that first gig, so you may have to take some less desirable jobs to get some clients under your belt. One thing I will say is watch out for people who will take advantage of this fact. People who promise exposure instead of money should be avoided like the plague. If someone tries to twist your arm with the exposure promise, ask them if they would work their 9-to-5 day job for free if their bosses promise them exposure instead of a paycheck. Whatever type of freelance work you end up doing, it's a good idea to sign a simple worker's contract. Getting agreements down in writing can help avoid future headaches if disagreements happen. Another important thing is to ask for a percentage of the budget up front. It's common practice for artists to ask for 25% of the budget up front. This shows goodwill from the client that they will actually pay you when the project is completed. I ask for 50% up front before I begin a project, and the other 50% upon completion of the project. If it's for something that's under $100, then I normally don't bother with that. But like if you're doing something that's $1,000 or more, then definitely make sure the client gets some skin in the game. This helps protect you, since a client is far less likely to pull the plug halfway through a project if they have their own money involved. One thing I will say about music videos is it generally offers a ton of creative freedom, since music videos by their very nature tend to be weird and more experimental than commercials or other types of work. However, it's no secret that many musicians don't have a ton of money. So if you can create a style that can be animated quickly, that's ideal. Concert visuals can be a little more lucrative for the amount of work involved. In 2017, I worked on tour visuals for Incubus during the summer. This opened up a whole new type of animation work to explore, so don't limit yourself to only music videos. Another thing I started doing to branch out from music videos is creating ready-made animation clips that video artists and bands can download from my website and use in their own projects. I personally use Shopify to upload my work, and aside from paying $9 a month to use Shopify, it's basically a free way to repurpose animation loops as digital products. The advantage to this is that once the hard work of creating the animation clips is done, the clips can be downloaded an unlimited number of times by anyone in the world, whereas with a freelance gig like a music video only generates revenue once from one client. This is called passive income, where you can make something once and continue to earn money from it forever after the work is done. Popular forms of passive income are royalties from books, music, real estate investments, or dividend-yielding stocks. In school, we only learn about how to be employees, how to trade our limited time for money, how to follow orders and not question the authority of the teacher, in the same way one is expected to follow orders from a boss. Basically, in school, you're learning how to be a good employee. If you're an employee for a company, you're working for active income. So, active income is very susceptible to basically ceasing to exist. Due to automation, many of the factory-style jobs that schools have traditionally prepared us for will continue to become obsolete. So it's more important now than ever to develop skills and products that can't be easily automated. With active income, You're trading a set number of hours for a set amount of pay. There's a limit to how much you can earn because there's a limit to how many hours you can work. For instance, if you work a job 8 hours a day, you only get paid for those 8 hours that you're actually working. With passive income, you can essentially make money while you sleep and continue to make money for years to come on something you made only once. Another example of passive income is this video. The portraits I'm drawing are active income, since people are only going to pay me once for their portraits. But this video can make revenue from AdSense. Granted, AdSense isn't much unless you're getting thousands or millions of views, but it's the same principle. This video is also an example of repurposing work, since these drawings I did in the past were recorded for the video I'm making right now. It's like catching two rabbits with one stone. Before the internet, passive income was mostly reserved for the ultra wealthy or super famous. But now, anyone who owns a computer and has an internet connection has a huge opportunity and a huge advantage over the majority of people who have ever lived on the planet. We have access to unlimited information, unlimited people, and unlimited opportunities for creating value and earning income via the internet. There's kids on YouTube who are posting videos of themselves opening toys, and they're generating thousands from AdSense as I speak. It's absurd, but that's the reality. You never know what people will like. Someone might make an ebook that takes a month to write, but the ebook could go viral and get purchased thousands of times over several months or even years. Now, this is super unlikely, and it's very unlikely to have this kind of major success on your first try, which is why so many people give up after a few attempts to create a cash cow. But you have to remember that you have to swing a lot before you hit a home run. The company that created Angry Birds, that was their 50th game. You know, they had over 40 or 50 games that failed, or at least had very, very marginal success, nothing comparing to the success of Angry Birds. So if they gave up even after their 20th game, you know, they would have never made Angry Birds. So setting up multiple streams of income and consistently creating digital products that use your talents and expertise to give real value to people increases the chances to at least have a decent side income that could really help you out. In truth, the term passive income is misleading because there's really nothing passive about getting started. It requires a tremendous amount of work up front, but everything that's worthwhile requires hard work. Passive income is a long-term game, so it's worth setting up these systems as soon as possible. Now, I'm not suggesting pursuing passive income over freelancing, but to do both. Freelancing offers an alternative, or at least a way to supplement a conventional 9-to-5 job, but it isn't the end of the story, and it's very risky to rely solely on any one single source of income, considering how technology is rapidly changing the nature of work. It's a really good idea for freelancers to develop multiple forms of income, especially considering the especially considering the feast or famine. If it was fast or famine, you'd always be starving. But the nature of freelancing, it's very much a feast or famine type world where you may have a month of too many clients and deadlines with no time to sleep, and then the next month you can't get anyone to answer your emails. Passive income offers some cushion room during the lull periods from the roller coaster that's freelancing. And it's not even like money is the goal. In my view, money is just a resource that can be used for either good or bad. it's certainly a tool that can help one accomplish goals. The main objective of being an artist is to make the best art that you can. But figuring out how to balance creativity with commerce is the tricky part. But the two don't have to be at odds with each other. You don't have to create art you hate in order to make a living. And you don't have to be a starving artist making art that you believe in but that won't sell. Like, there's definitely a middle way. It's just something that one learns through trial and error and consistently making things. Digital products are a great method for passive income. For instance, if you develop your own Photoshop brushes that you use in your freelance work, you could offer those custom brushes as digital downloads for people to download from places like Gumroad or even on your own website. Literally anything can be a digital download. Any topic that you know more about than the average person, you could make money off it from the internet. It's crazy. Music sample packs, video courses that teach a skill, ebooks, whatever it is that you spend your time working on. Think about how you could repurpose assets of your creative work into digital packages that people could download and benefit from. Digital products have a huge advantage over physical products in many aspects. For instance, they're almost entirely free to distribute. Aside from the time involved in creating them and paying minimal hosting fees, digital products don't have to be physically produced, stored in a warehouse, or shipped. Customers receive them instantly upon purchase, and you don't have to worry about thousands of products going to waste if they aren't selling. Worst case scenario, you just don't make any sales. Now, making anything, there's a risk to making anything because everything that you do takes up your time, and time is a limited resource. Time is always running out. Money comes and goes, but time is always going. So it is important to figure out how to use one's time wisely. But the risk of creating digital products is far less than investing your time and resources into physical goods. Because with physical goods, you take on a huge financial risk when you invest all these resources into products that might not ever sell. Instead of needing to take out some huge loan and invest a ton of money in building a physical store, we live in an age where anyone can build an online store for almost free. So, in conclusion, I would suggest a multifaceted approach to freelancing. Try to get really, really good at one skill and then spread your eggs across multiple baskets. Freelancing is a good way to make money in the short run, and passive income is a good strategy for supplementing your freelance work in the long run. Experiment with different ways to earn money off your art. There's no one single path to follow in life. I don't feel comfortable telling people what they should or shouldn't do, but there's a lot of pressure to follow a certain single path that tells kids for 12 years that their entire lives are leading up to college. This is the whole point of your education, is to prepare you for college. And you can't succeed unless you spend thousands of dollars on college. But this idea that education is a product that someone purchases for exactly 4 years is absurd. Education is a lifelong process. Being motivated to educate yourself is far better predictor of success than paying a professor to tell you what to think. If you want to be a video game designer, just start designing games. The best way to learn is by doing. This one game designer I follow on YouTube made a video about how he learned more in 2 months making his first game than he did studying game design for 2 years in college. The internet changes everything. If you're going to do something creative and are disciplined and self-driven, you don't need to get in debt to learn what you can learn for free on the internet. The idea that everyone has to go to college in order to succeed is outdated, as most liberal arts degrees have very little economic utility. This isn't to say that all subjects under the umbrella of liberal arts are worthless, but it is very risky to take on debt to learn what is readily available online for free. When it comes to freelancing, your body of work and who you're networked with is far more important than a degree. There are no guarantees in life, but if you consistently put stuff out and put your best foot forward and do your best to be professional and kind to people, chances are someone's going to want to work with you. And then it's just like a video game where you get past level 1 and you gain experience points and you get stronger. That's pretty much what it's like. If you want to go into the medical profession, then you need to go the traditional college route. I wouldn't trust a self-taught doctor to touch any part of my body, but a self-taught artist, that's another story. But sorry for this rant on school stuff. I'm barely scratching the surface and would need a lot more time to fully unpack my thoughts on this subject. But basically, I think everyone should follow their own path. Some people's paths include college, some people's don't. But figure out how you can repurpose things you've already created into new forms like digital downloads. Focus on one thing at a time. Don't chase too many rabbits. Just focus on one rabbit until you catch it, and then move on to the next one. I hope this video will be useful to people. These are big topics, so this is only an introduction. We're all trying to figure this stuff out together. If you want to research more about passive income and freelancing, maybe check out Pat Flynn or Roberto Blake. If you want me to draw a portrait of you, you can email me from the address below. And let me know in the comments any other questions you may have that I could answer in the next Draw and Chat episode. This is Mikey Bizan signing out. Thanks for watching. Peace.